So, let's take a look. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, in verses 1 through 3, I may speak in different languages of people or even angels. But if I do not love, do not have love, I am only like a noisy bell or a clashing cymbal. I might have the gift of prophecy. I may understand all the secret things of God and all the knowledge that I may have. And I may have faith so wonderful that I can move a mountain. But even with all of these, if I do not have love, then I am nothing. I may give away everything that I have. I might give my body as a sacrifice to be burned. But I gain nothing if I do not have love. Isn't that beautiful? Aren't those beautiful words? As Paul describes love. Paul explained about spiritual gifts in chapter 12 and 13 and 14, as I've said. The Corinthians thought that speaking in other languages was the most valuable of the gifts, but Paul is quite clear. When you speak in other languages, that is a spiritual gift. That may be your spiritual gift, to be able to do this kind of speaking in other languages or tongues. But if you do this without expressing love, then the way that you speak has no beauty to it. Paul explained about prophecy. He said that it was very important. We saw that in our last lesson, that it is an important spiritual gift, prophecy, to be able to tell his story, his message, to be able to give it out. It's such an important spiritual gift. But if it's done without love, then my understanding, my faith, my ability to proclaim, all of those things, really, they are just like nothing. Paul compared a gong and a cymbal, for they had no beauty in them. And even if I do not have love, then I am nothing, is what the passage said. Even if I prophesy, I am as nothing. And the last part of this section said that I can even sacrifice my life. You know, my body could be burned. But if I did not give this gift of my body with love, then my sacrifice has no true value. It has no true value. Really? Mean I could sacrifice my life? But if the sacrifice did not come from love, then it's really worth nothing? Wow, that's really a pretty blunt statement. My actions must originate from an inner being of love. If I speak or if I act, I must do these because love is in me. It is really so important. Everything that I do has to be an expression of a heart that is filled with love, like God is filled with love. So love happens in the life of the church. What does it look like? What do you think when love happens in the life of the church? A lot of things in the life of the church happen, like, you know, there may be gossip in the life of the church. There may be backstabbing in the life. Do those things look like love? No. Love will encourage another person when they fall. When a person is having problems, and when they fail, and when they're frustration, love will step out and help that person. Well, the next part of this lesson, it shows what true love is. true love. What does this true love look like? 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. Let me read that to you. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous. It does not boast. It isn't proud. Love is not rude. It is not selfish. It does not become upset with other people. Love does not count up the wrong that is done against it. Love is not happy with evil, but is happy with the truth. Love patiently accepts all things. It is always trusting. It is always hoping. It is always continually strong. So these three things remain forever: faith, hope, love. And the most wonderful, greatest of all of these three is love. Isn't that beautiful? Those passages. So often, that's why they read it at weddings, because it's so pretty, so beautiful. Paul showed the spiritual gifts. Some spiritual gifts will end. Use the spiritual gifts that you have now for his kingdom's sake. But verse 8 through 10 show that speaking languages and knowing prophecy, all of these things will come to a conclusion. But when we get to heaven, we won't need these things. We will have the full measure of everything that he has for us. Everything that he wants for us, we'll have it in heaven. But here we are on earth. We need these spiritual gifts for the work of his church so that we may serve completely in the world and so that we may do for one another as we need. But all of these gifts, you see, comes to an end. But Paul confesses he doesn't know everything. He's so limited in what he knows. Our knowledge is limited. But he sort of compares that with two little pictures in here, like of when we were children. When I was a child, I thought like a child, and I spoke like a child. Everything was childish. But now that I'm a man, childish things are put aside. What that shows is that now we do not understand completely. Just like a child does not understand things completely. But the child will grow up. It won't be a child anymore. You and I will grow up in our faith, in faith things, and we will know more completely. It's the same sort of idea with a mirror. Today, if you look in a mirror, you see a really good image. It's an exact reflection. But in Paul's time, in his life, a mirror was not like they are today. It was just sort of a polished metal, and there was a brightness to it, but there was not a clear image. If looked in that kind of image, you could not see very clearly. But the idea, you see, it was a dim image, but in the future, everything will be full. Everything will be, when we get to heaven, we will see completely. We will understand completely. My spiritual gifts, my pride, my behavior, all of those are childish kind of ways of thinking. Let's get rid of those. The way that is complete is the way of love. That's what lasts forever. On earth, knowledge, prophecy, all of those things will be done away with. That which is permanent, that has no end, faith, hope, love. Most important of all of these things that we've said is his godly love, a gift to us that can be poured out from our life to the world through his church. How very important that we love that way. All right? Good.